again, I didn't know what you guys had in mind, but if you want, we can do an end-to-end walk of the pedestrian route that we have established during construction. You know, it's one thing we can do. I didn't know if you had any specific points or any areas you wanted to take us through or to point out to us. I'm open for that. Again, we're here at your request.
Okay, here's
and
the
we're happy
situation.
to do whatever you guys need us to do for you.
Okay. What we're concerned about is, and the reason why we want them to get together and both chiefs are here, is to have you visually see the traffic and the traffic pattern that we have here and the conflicts of traffic. So, you know, even when you guys had to cross the street, you had to go to the sidewalk.
Yes.
That was only because the chief forced you to do that. Generally, everybody crosses right here.
Well, we almost did.
No, the chief didn't. The chief didn't.
I was admonishing everyone to follow the rules.
So
anyway,
what we'd like to point
this
out.
guy is right here, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
He's jaywalking.
Yeah. Did you plant him?
So what we'd like to show you is this is the conflict of traffic. There's an opportunity for a left-hand turn if you're coming down either High Street or Forest Street to go on to Clippership Drive. And I think where's your traffic engineers should be cognizant of those conflicts and how do we put the temporary bridge up and still give the opportunity for people to make the turns that they want to make.
More importantly, how do you justify 200 cars that your traffic consultant said coming down? How do you justify the 200 cars that your traffic consultant said is coming down High Street and coming down here in the morning and going across? That's number one. And the second thing is trying to put a traffic signal for which guys would be very helpful over there so we can take a left turn right in the middle of the square. Now, we've been here. You can count the cars right now. You've already done 200 while you've been talking. So,
okay, which move are you
you're talking about coming down High Street, going across, or even coming over here.
Going across here?
Yeah.
Okay, well...
You said 200 in 1 hour. It's impossible.
No, there aren't 200 cars in 1 hour going across there. Here's the traffic volumes right here. Again, as we've been here witnessing, we were here earlier, about 20 minutes ago. You know, for the purpose of watching this stuff, to verify, you know, we have numbers here. Everyone questions them sometimes, you know, were they counted at the right time of year and not, but, you know, they vary, and we do observations, and we've been doing it this morning. As we've been here, we've seen not one vehicle cross that move right there. Here's the counts that we had taken at the time. When were these counts done in last year?
No, they're a couple of years old.
About 2 years ago. The move coming across, are you talking from High Street?
Yep.
Down Clippership. In the peak hour, we counted 25 vehicles.
What was the peak hour?
In the morning. Peak hour is what, 8, what'd you do, 7:30, 8:30?
Counts are done 7 to 9. The peak hour.
How'd you count them with fingers or with...
No. How do we count with fingers? No, there's
been no counter out here.
no. They're manual counts, electronic boards.
Of course it does.
Just like everywhere.
That's the nature of traffic.
We're not going to get any sound out of this. It's going to be a nice video without any sound.
And what do you have for traffic count coming over here?
In which direction?
This way.
Why don't we go inside for here?
Yes.
To update the information. And again, I think that perhaps a little bit more cooperation from the Traffic Engineering Division might prove to be a little bit more workable for you. But you're moving ahead on design. There were some other design issues that were brought up by the Historical Commission about the arches and this and that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're going to come up with some next set of plans, another public hearing. We're going to be in a similar situation to what we were about a month and a half ago. But those are your decisions to decide who you're using, what information you're using, and your ability to present alternatives. I mean, it's up to you. It's incumbent on you to present those alternatives, and for us to try to review them and give some input based on practical and technical knowledge. So, I mean, I don't know what else you want from us. Well, I think everybody
Well,
here is
again,
pretty
I kind
clear.
of pose that question to you. We are going to meet with you, and Donnie, you know I've asked you that. I wanted an in-house, in-office meeting
You can have
with
an
the
in-
city officials to go over all that detailed information.
We
that
can
talked
do
about.
that
And
again, because
want-
I do believe you've
No,
had this
no,
and
listen, I'm
heard
gonna
this
tell you. And
about
everybody's
4
talking
times.
about doing changes to this, changes to that.
Yeah.
I'm standing here before you right now, okay? The traffic pattern here, the pedestrian routes we have, in my opinion, are absolutely the best we can possibly get here. There may be some slight tweaks that might, you know, you can not believe me, or you can believe me, okay? There is a few people in this room who have been in this business for 30 years doing these projects, okay? I'm one of them. Our traffic engineers are others. You know, you cannot trust us, you cannot believe our numbers. We'll update the numbers, they'll change by, you know, 2%. It won't change a thing. Okay, we have constraints with what we're working with here as far as physical ability. We are maintaining the traffic, in my opinion, far better than you could have hoped to get when we changed this project and went with this temporary bridge. This was a big benefit to the city, and this is coming from me personally, okay? And I stand behind everything we're doing here, okay? There's nothing that's neglected. We're not neglecting pedestrian routes. We're analyzing them. We're doing the safest route possible. Just because somebody wants to run across the street here in front of Main Street does not mean that's the safest place that they should cross. And it does not mean me as a professional engineer with a license and liability is going to put a crosswalk there just because they want to cross it. I'm not going to do that, okay, if it's not safe. I have a responsibility as a professional engineer to not do that.
Paul, can we go back to what the chief said? And,
Sure.
You know, if you close that ramp coming down over there, and I think at the last meeting you folks indicated, instead of putting 2 lanes of traffic, you maybe put 1 lane of traffic because of that building right there. It was going to be very close to that building. So now you're coming down there. I believe the thought was that the cars should go either left, back into the square, or go right. Now you have Parthian Drive coming in front of you. So now let's go back to the argument that Warren talked about, the people walking down the street, the seniors. They're going to be conflicted with the left or right or people coming down. So that's a public safety. It's a pretty wide moat there for cars to make that turn. So it isn't an insurance factor that, you know, seniors are going to be there. So chief, go back to the same issue. We're going to start putting traffic.
Again, I don't know what crossing you're specifically
You said you were going to
talking
move the traffic from that side to the opposite side. And you're going to make them walk down to the street. And then they'll be coming down in front of Parthian Drive. They have to walk across the street.
They have to come down
Right, but the ramp.
across Parthian Drive.
Yeah, but the ramp coming from over the bridge, the
Correct.
ramp is going to deposit on the ring road.
Yes.
And the cars are either going to go left or they're going to go right. Now you have Parthian Drive cars coming down. That's right in the heart of where the seniors are going to be walking across
I'm
the
going to
street.
interrupt. Another question I got to ask too.
Wait,
Sorry.
come here,
Okay.
excuse me, wait a minute, okay? How are you going to handle that? What's the difference between the left side where the bridge ends over there or over there on the opposite side? They're still going to be dealing with the cars.
They will be dealing with the cars when they cross on the other side of the bridge.
Well, it's both sides, so we're back to the public safety issue.
We do not, if we had an alternative to that, do you think we would be crossing people through the mouth of the traffic?
But it's just as dangerous on the opposite side of the street. As a matter of fact, it's
So I'm not
wider.
going to create 2 dangerous situations.
It's wider.
We have one that we can't avoid, so we're doing all we can.
So you're going to put a light there for the
protect-
people, you're going to put a
Yes.
light there for the people to cross.
That's what we're doing.
You're going to put a light there. You guys are going to install
And
a light.
there will be a traffic officer there at all times during construction.
At that
And
spot?
We're not just going to let everything be the Wild
At
West.
that spot?
Yes.
At that spot?
There'll be traffic officers wherever you need them. You know, have you ever seen us lack putting traffic officers on projects where they need to be?
Let me ask you,
I mean, to my opinion, they're the most important part of the traffic operation during construction because they can adjust and control. And people at least will listen to traffic officers. They don't always listen to a stop sign, that's all.
Let me ask this question here, if relative to traffic flow. There's the buses come here and
Yes.
and stop. Where's Lauren?
You have to move the buses.
Yeah, what would the thought be if temporarily we move the buses to Medford Square? Would that create an additional?
Well, I mean, again, I think the idea is certainly something that should be looked at, but I've been here a while too,
Yeah.
as you have.
Yeah.
And I remember a time that the MBTA during a construction project moved a bus stop and a pedestrian was killed, and I remember that going to court.
right.
So I think that it's certainly something to be analyzed, but again, I have to go back to a real traffic engineer
Yeah.
with counts and analyzing the road, turning into the road, backing out of the road, and they have to make those recommendations to us. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request, and I also don't think it's a lot of money to do it.
So,
I don't know what the hesitancy is to do some more traffic-based design changes on construction traffic, or you haven't, or you haven't seen it. I mean, I don't.
Well, again, you keep mentioning changes. What changes? What do you want us to make? We will make changes if changes are necessary.
The question is how are people?
the
Okay,
traffic
let's just
or
talk
make
about
it
buses.
safer.
Let's talk about buses.
Sure.
And we'll
And
switch
there
to
goes one
buses.
right there.
There was
One
three
queue.
there. There was three there yesterday.
Correct.
All
It's
back
a
behind
very
each other, which is
busy
nice.
bus
How
stop.
are the buses and the people who are using the buses going to be accommodated in a safe manner during construction of this project? Are those locations going to be changed, and if so, where?
No, the bus stop will remain where it is. All the
Okay.
bus stops will.
So you're
on
asking
the
for
side.
suggestions, Donnie.
Correct.
One is have the traffic engineers review as to whether or not it would be feasible
And
on a
coordinate with the
temporary.
MBTA.
Huh?
And they should
Coordinate
obviously
with the MBTA to move those buses into the Medford Square area where there was originally 20 years ago, that's what it was
Well, if
designed
you
to
notice,
do.
all these buses that stop at this route, they proceed in that direction.
We
They can do a
understand. Yeah.
U-turn. They can do a
Yeah.
U-turn and come around.
Okay, U-turns now. All right.
It's only 3 to 5 minutes. The girl even said that was here from the MBTA. So again,
There was a discussion relative to that. That's number one. Number two, the police chief is making a very valid point, because if you close 16 off ramp, it's going to make your flow of the temporary bridge a lot easier, because now you're not going to have the conflict of traffic coming off 93 onto 16 to go straight ahead. That's not necessary, if you will.
Well, I agree with you there, sure.
Oh, okay, so that's
But that has far-reaching effects.
We understand, but again, as Lauren points out, we're not traffic engineers. You ask for suggestions. These are suggestions. You come back with the suggestion and say, okay, we looked at it, the traffic engineers, we got our consultants, and they're saying, what a stupid idea. Or maybe what a great idea. I don't know.
I mean, I think what he's saying is some of these things are out of his control, but also, he's doing this project, you're coordinating with Waterway, you're coordinating with DEP, you're coordinating with all these other agencies. I think what we're saying here is, you also have to coordinate with some of your own agencies in order to accomplish some of these things. It's not incumbent on the city or business person to resolve these conflicts. We're asking you, we'll help you. City council is here, they vote on bus stops. I'm sure if there's a plan that's, that they go along with, I'm sure that they'll cooperate with you in doing those temporary changes. But I think that what we're looking for, and maybe it's not you, but you certainly can hear all this, is some action on the items that people have expressed. They haven't changed. I think they're pretty clear about what those issues are.
Honestly, I understand every one of those items. And we do all we can, and again, we have limits of what we can do. Not money-wise, I mean, just physically, what can be done? And
Can I interrupt? 'Cause I gotta go. Can I interrupt? Because I gotta go. I'm sorry. All right,
What's your
'cause I
name,
gotta go.
sir? What's
My
your
name is James Bruin. I own Medford Auto School. Matter of fact, I gotta go teach a class. All right. My question is, I asked about going back to pedestrians, and I asked about the safety of my students. But another thing I forgot to ask there, what about my parents, dropping off and picking up the students? Where are they going to be able to do it? Right now, they're allowed to go into matter of fact, because my kids now, they go into the parking lot where they're nice and safe. The parents drop them off, pick them up, or whatever. What's going to happen after this? I mean, I'm not trying to. So far, it sounds like as far as the pedestrian rules, you seem like you're on the ball with it.
Exactly, believe me. What you're saying is one of the things we've been scratching our heads over and trying to work these patterns to try to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Again, you're just, okay, you say, well, yeah, just a few spaces, we can't do that. So
Excuse me,
we're
could you
trying
just
to.
take 1 second,
Sure.
Paul? Come over here and take
We're
a
trying to
look
work
at
to
the
do
window. You
that.
can see his class and what
Yeah.
they're doing, how they congregate in this area. We're
Yeah.
putting about the
So-
opera. I mean, I think the best
I know.
evidence is physical here, so.
Here they come now. See how they have to use the parking lot to get picked up and dropped off?
Right.
See?
You know, I mean, it will be altered. I mean, it's an unfortunate, it's what it is. It's construction. We're trying to reconstruct a bridge in the middle of a busy city. There's only so much space to do that. And that's unfortunate. We realize that. Okay? You know, we're going to have to work to get you parking. We're going to try to get you parking right here in this corner. And we're going to work with the city to see if we can get you some reserved stuff on the other side. I mean,
Well, no, you sound like you're on the ball with the pedestrians, and I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
It's not just pedestrians, it's everybody. It's you, it's your business, and it's this business.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is, it's just,
I'm concerned with honor.
Okay. I'm just like I said, I'm just, you know, keep that in mind, you know, with the parents drop off and the safety of these kids. Because you know, teenagers being
It
teenagers.
doesn't happen, the youth that will be awesome.
Yeah.
It will. I'm not saying to tell you it's not, it will.
Okay.
You know, and again, the route, and I took that route this morning, because I thought, I didn't even realize that it was pretty good when I came down this side. But I think one of my intentions with the city is to preserve you guys spots on this side that we preserve to you, as well as what we can give you here on this side. We're taking away the spots without construction area. We haven't set that yet. That's what I want to do when I come back to the city,
Well,
work with the traffic.
I think you heard Ralph and some of the people who are affected in the business say that, you know, one of the major problems is this facility opens at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
Right now, it's a dinner facility. We hope in the future it'll be more than that, but right now it's a dinner facility. So that, you know, anything after 4 o'clock is even going to exacerbate whatever traffic problems and pedestrian problems you're going to have, and have a major impact on this business in particular, and the business next door, where they rely on people to come. So the question then is, take that into consideration when you're doing your hours of operation. If it's going to be 7 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon, or whatever time it's going to be, keep that into consideration as another aspect of it.
Paul, by the end of this meeting, Lauren continued to mention about having another traffic study done for pedestrians. My question is, does the state have any intentions of doing what Lauren suggested, is bringing in an engineer to determine what's right and what's wrong, or you're going to be the deciding factor on anything we suggest? You're the engineer. You're going to decide yes or no. Like you said, reversing Pathio Way is going to be a congestion. That's your opinion. What does your traffic engineer say about reversing Pathio Way? You don't know because you've never consulted a traffic engineer. So are we going to get
a specific move? No, because...
Okay. So that's the question, is are you going to get a traffic engineer in here who can answer our question? And if not, why not?
We have traffic engineers that have been on the project from day one. We have developed everything we have to date by professional, experienced traffic engineers. We've done it, we've had an original plan, we changed that original plan. We've got another, we had a basis of that plan, we tweaked that. Okay, this is the culmination of a whole lot of design and analysis by professional engineers and traffic engineers. Now, people are talking like we haven't had engineers on this job.
No, we're not talking like
we
that.
We can get, it's 2 years
What we're
old.
talking about is, there has been no coordination with regard to that at the city level.
I think once we've identified issues, yes, I don't see any follow-up to your expanding your traffic analysis that you did previously.
Council Marks, did you have a question?
Paul, when the project eventually stops, who will be the point person for the state where a local business owner or a resident can call up and voice concerns about the project? That's my first question. Secondly, what is the turnaround? If someone has, a business owner or a resident has a question and something needs to be changed, what is the turnaround on a project like this? If you wanted to change pedestrian flow or traffic flow, is that something that can be done immediately, or is it something that's going to go through a layer of red tape and never happen? What is the workaround?
Well, it all depends. First of all, when it goes to construction, the district office takes over the construction. There'll be an on-site resident engineer or more than one. Typically, there's a local resident engineer's office, a trailer here on site. And they're the first direct point person, and there'll be contact numbers and information that's provided that's all standard when that gets started. As far as enacting any changes during construction, it really depends on what the nature of it is. If it's flipping a crosswalk or something, it can be done. If it's, changing the whole traffic pattern that will require somebody actually analyzing it for a week or two. You get my point. It depends on the nature of what that change would be. I mean, something could be enacted quickly and swiftly, but other things can't. It all depends on the nature.
Just if I could, I know everyone put their 2 cents in. If I had my way, the temporary bridge, you would not be able to take a left off the temporary bridge. It would be right only, and you would have access from Forest Street, Salem Street, and High Street down Clipship Drive.
Our consideration, and we're still looking at this, is to make that a double right, but it's kind of problematic, and it kind of needs a little more
I think
real estate.
Effectively, you might not see it, but I think we're bypassing, with the current traffic flow as it exists, you're bypassing a portion of the city. And that's what was created years ago, no disrespect, Councilor, Representative, when Ring Road was created. We bypassed our square, and a lot of the businesses felt the brunt of that.
Well, again, truly, our traffic pattern is designed to not.
But it is. It is. It's sending people further down Riverside, and you're hoping they're going to find their way back by going through a parking lot to this general area.
Well, if people are heading there, that's their destination. I mean, they're not going to come here and they're not going there by accident.
Right, but
that's their destination, so they're going to come down and it's not all that out of the way. It's like another block to go.
But if it's a hassle over 3 years, people will go somewhere else.
Right.
We already see that in Medford Square. People aren't willing to park where there's free and open parking and walk down across over this way. Just the business area has to be easy, and the parking has to be accessible for them to use it, for bypass traffic to use it.
We're still considering it. We're not weighing towards it because of the other implications. Is to have all the traffic turn right, and then the immediate left on Popular. That would probably take a little more real estate. In other words,
Parking spaces.
Well, maybe wiping out more of the sidewalk back, because you got to remember that's you could have 2 good-sized vehicles taking that turn together. One could be a bus and a truck, so you got to realize that requires space.
So you're saying one lane is just too much backup? Is that it is not enough capacity for one lane?
To come over the bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see how it is with 2, And the reason we have the 2 is so that we can keep that traffic center. It's very important that because we're going to have it signed so when they're coming over that bridge, they're already in those lanes. We don't want people switching up going over that bridge. So it's going to be signed for the destination. So, and again, it'll be in place. So the beauty of it too is once it's in place, it doesn't change. So people get used to it. If you have like our initial construction plan had like 8 phases. This thing would have changed constantly. People would have been confused. This way, this thing's established. And once people start using it, that's the way it's going to be. So everyone gets used to it, and there's no learning curve again.
Fire chief wanted that too.
Yeah, again, just on that turn again, and if we're looking at it, but we're weighing against it just because of the impact of the space you need to make those turns. We wouldn't rule it out. I mean, if it's really something the city's in favor of, and we can run the numbers. It doesn't really change the effect of traffic around a whole lot, except that one move. Okay, which is again 25 cars in the peak hour. So it's a trade-off. What do we want to do? And we wrestle with these things all the time in our designs. We want to do something really good, but it affects something else. What do we do? So you got to weigh these things. And sometimes there's trade-offs. So there are little trade-offs to doing that. We don't see a whole lot of gain, traffic pattern-wise, in doing it, but. And again, that's a specific thing we wanted to sit down and lay out and talk to you about is that left-right split. Because we know what your issues are. We haven't been ignoring them. We've been looking at them. And I'm sorry, it hasn't happened yet.
Take some parking out of that lot over by the bay.
Well, right. Again, this is all this entails.
Sidewalk, and then there's going to be some kind of big impact to that.
And we listen. Like someone says, well, try this move or try that move, and say, okay. So we go back and look at it. Again, you may not see it, but we see the wide implications to these things. Closing off the Route 16 ramp sounds great, but look at that. Step back in a big picture map, and that affects Somerville and Cambridge and everywhere else. So this is a long-term planning. This is a long, wide-range planning type thing. That's not. I want to tell you, being able to do some, I want to say, metering of that ramp, because we have a construction project here, to give you a little opening to do that. A little experimentation for the sake of traffic improvement during construction could give you a little nice experimentation period. You know what I'm saying? It gives you an excuse to be able to try it, put it this way. If you just went to the state and said, we want to shut that ramp off. But if we're doing it in conjunction with the project, you know, and then sometimes if it does happen and folks see it may work and it doesn't cause a disaster, then it could be maybe something that's incorporated long term and get studied as a planning type project.
Chief wants to ask.
Well,
Yes, Chief.
I think I'm on record, and I think
Yes.
you know my feelings. I would object to taking both lanes going right here.
Yes.
You need access into Medford Square.
Absolutely.
I don't care how you do it, but you gotta do
We
it.
heard that, and that's, again, one of the things we're weighing in, do we go this way or that way? I mean, that's the trade-offs we have here. They have, you know, their vehicles have to have some difficulty in doing that and some conflict. So, again, this is what we do, you know, some things seem really good, but
But on his comment there, how do you expect his ladder truck to go over that bridge and take that right?
we're making sure that's all.
So that means, going back
We
to what
got
Lauren
turning
says,
movements.
you're gonna have to take some real estate, sidewalks and whatever it might be.
We have it all designed out already. It's all currently
The
configured.
ladder truck could not make that 24-foot turn coming off the
Did
ramp.
you do those turns?
Yes, he can make the turn. Talk to the chief about the spot here. I recommend.
No, I'm talking about the other
No, I
one.
just- Right, he can, yes.
We've been looking at all those
They're
rules.
gonna guarantee it.
I'm stamping the cover sheet of the plans.
Again,
So
yes.
could you explain
Plans
it,
are being designed
can you
to
explain coming down Route,
Can't
the
guarantee the
ramp,
contractor will
the ramp, coming down Route 16?
Correct.
The traffic coming down there, are they gonna be allowed to go into the square, or do they have to automatically take the right,
They will be able to do everything they can do today.
besides taking the right? So they're
They
gonna be
will
able
they
to
will
come
be
down
able
the
to do
ramp.
everything they can do today.
So answer the question, please. Are they gonna be able to come down into the square?
Yes.
And then they won't be able to take a left. They'll have to take a right. They'll have me to take a left, but not a right. Because you're blocking off that side of the road.
The traffic will be able to do during construction period. All the traffic coming off the Route 16 ramp and all its destinations will remain the same during construction.
You said before, the traffic coming down High Street would have to go all the way down by the police station, come back and do a U-turn to go back, if they wanted to go there, go up the ramp and then take a left over the bridge. That was explained before, now is that changed? Because
I'm losing you here.
You're blocking off this entrance right here.
That's this entrance you were just talking about.
No, coming down High Street, the only way they're gonna get down there is they're gonna have to go all the way around and come around.
Continue down Riverside.
Now that you have Riverside Ave open. Now,
All right, but that's a positive step.
it is a positive step, but I haven't seen anyone of this group here this morning write down all these things, starting with Mr. Quinn started with this, another analysis to look at. I mean, you guys all have this in your head? I mean, is this how it works? Does anybody take any notes? This is very important. You're talking about people's livelihoods here. This is a business. This has been
Listen.
going on since 2002.
Excuse me, Councilman.
2002, this is when
My
this first
livelihood
started.
and my profession
2002.
is just what we're talking about here,
Right.
okay? I think I know what I'm doing.
I think you do. I hope you do. But
We
you
are
know something?
analyzing everything you have talked about.
Yeah, but where are your notes? I mean, how do you go back and sit? I mean, did you have this all in your head? Can you explain? Can you go back and tell everything that we've talked about?
We have, I'm going to tell you right now, we have not heard one new thing here.
That's not true.
That we haven't
started off
heard.
the morning with something new.
We've heard all of it, okay? And we've looked, we didn't ignore it. What do you think we've been doing all this time?
Since 2002. This is 2013.
I haven't been working on this project since 2002,
Well, that's when it
Councilman,
started
with all
with
due
the city.
respect.
It started with the city in 2002.
But that's different. It was a different.
No, it isn't.
It was the DCR.
So when did you start? 2008? That's the first time it's come on board.
Everything that we've heard today has been heard. Everything we've heard today has been considered. Everything we've heard
Nothing's been
today
considered, because you
has
haven't walked into
been
that
done.
lady's office and sat down with her
presented.
in any of the meetings. Now all of a sudden, you're going to sit down with her.
Well, we have met early on. We had some engineering department head meetings. I think what we're saying here is that we don't feel that you've progressed enough to make them feel comfortable that this project is moving ahead in the right direction.
We are certainly
Okay.
ready to do that.
So that's what needs to happen, Paul, okay? And I'm not talking at really, and with no disrespect to anybody here, I'm not talking at a political level. I'm talking at a practical and technical level with the people who have to be basically accountable for this project, who you'll be communicating with and working with in the project. City engineer should be involved in this. I know you've met with her separately. She should be part of the team. Of course, the police and fire department, as they have been in the past, been very instrumental in identifying issues as we move along. So I think that, but come with updated traffic information and come with some possible answers to the issues that we have been discussing for a while. As you said, no new ideas.
We have answers to all of them. We're not saying the answers are what you want to
How
hear.
about alternatives? That way there's a little bit more ability to mold some change here.
I think you've seen the progress of alternatives, Lonnie. Our first shot at this project, what did that look like?
The bridge basically closer?
The bridge with eight phases happening, and 2 lanes. We cross our fingers if we get those 2. We might get 1. Building a gigantic platform out here so that we can put construction equipment. Okay, we progressed on from that. Okay, that's the nature of this project. It started out as one thing. It's changed. It's altered, and we're at a point. This, again, in my personal opinion, I don't see anything better than the plan we have here for you people. And I don't look at any project I ever do in any other way, other than I assume I own it, I assume I'm paying for it, I assume I'm living here when I look at every project I do. And that's what I base every decision on my project. Okay, it may not satisfy every single person because that's impossible. So I need to make these judgments in the best good of everybody. Professionally, safety, number one, and I've explained that before. I'm not going to send people across the middle of Main Street just because they want to, okay? I'm going to send them crossing where it's safe for them to do so. All that. I look at projects like they're mine. I own them, okay? I've intervened on this project with my department a little bit more than probably project managers should, and I've taken heat for that. But I'm doing it for the city of Medford.
Well, do the hours of
everybody around.
Do the hours of operation have a big impact on all the things we're talking about? So if you're doing your job from 8 to 4, obviously that's the highest traffic point that we're all concerned about, versus going from midnight to 8. All right.
Yeah.
Does taking that leap, going from midnight to 8, alleviate a lot of what we're talking about? But I don't know the impact it has on.
Well, there are advantages to it. It's obviously much less traffic.
Right.
The contractor can probably close one of the lanes and take more space and work more efficiently.
So you're considering that?
There's a little higher cost.
But
okay, but if it gets construction done faster,
okay,
that costs a trade-off. And again, we look at all that. And that's,
right.
The work hours are an important thing on this project because again, we don't have a whole lot of options of what we do to make things work here. The work hours are one of those things.
Okay. I got a question for the chief, fire chief.
Yes.
You mentioned your concern about the temporary bridge, the 2 lanes turning right, you wanted access to turn left. Here's my question. When your trucks come down, and I hear them 6 times, 7 times a day coming through the square, they go and turn left, all right? They go right through, they slow down, the horns are gone. So if they're coming over that temporary bridge and they gotta get to High Street, is that gonna change for you? I know you gotta come up here a little bit, but...
Not really.
Okay. So as long as you have access to turn left with your trucks, you're okay, even though the 2 lanes turn right. Does that make sense?
Driving into the 2 lanes. Yeah, but if you're gonna make cars come into Clippership Drive, now you head on.
Okay, but if your horns are going, people stop.
Not really.
No, in theory.
I wouldn't like that.
That would be a tough conflict.
Okay.
That would not be a good condition.
See, but here you make a good point, and I think that's what everyone here, Paul, is trying to say. A suggestion, say, close Route 16, but the other bad part about that, Chief, might be, and I don't know because I'm not a traffic engineer, but if I wanted to go to South Medford and come off Route 16, I take a left. Now, if we close Route 16, how do I get to South Medford? I'd have to go to Medford Square and then go through the square straight ahead.
If you're coming 93 north, you get off at Harvard Street 16.
And Harvard Street 16.
Okay. But if you're coming north on 93, you'd have to get off.